I spoke with 13-year-old Sean Howell's aunt, and she tells me she is numb. The family just can't understand how this happened. The police tape is still up, and you can see there's a window that's been busted out of that third floor right there. 71 shots were fired just outside this bar early this morning. You can see the chalk marks left on the ground as police tried to count up all of the shell casings. In total, 5 people were shot, and so far police say they haven't made any arrests. After being on the run for more than 12 hours, a real Bryant was arrested inside this apartment building. Her mom spoke to me exclusively and says she is beyond relieved that the kids were found safe and weren't hurt. The victim was shot right here in the city of Cleveland, but drove himself a mile away. He stopped just across the street from the city line into the city of Euclid. Now, as soon as fans found out the kid from Akron is going to be taking his talents elsewhere, of course they came just outside the queue to see the poster. A lot of people wanted to get their picture, their selfie with the poster. Well, this is the center of where the storm hit last night. You can actually see this tree that was snapped off. Now, Burger King workers tell me they can actually hear the tornado come up through this creek, jump over the street into that parking lot. Then it started throwing cars as if they were toys. Watch closely to the top left of your screen. There are 2 cars, both white, that will get swept up and spiraled by an EF1 tornado. The car on the left skids, slides, and is slammed onto its roof. The car on the right rolls, but lands back on its tires.
My poor coworker was outside, and she was like, I was holding on to the wall.
You can see the whirling of the tornado whip through the parking lot.
All of a sudden, there was just all of our windows and doors blew open, and the lights started flickering, and then everything just shut down.
Inside the Burger King, they took cover.
It pretty much went through the drive-thru.
Here's another view. The light on the ceiling starts falling off and carts start blowing through the parking lot. There's a flash of light. Then you can see people start running through the parking lot. Watch this small child and their parent running for cover inside the grocery store.
It lasted for 30 to 45 seconds. It doesn't seem that long, but when you're in here, it's a really long time.
It took us by surprise because, you hear the sirens, but you just never think it's going to hit in your area.
As quickly as the twister blew through, it was gone.
We were actually surprised because we had heard the sirens and we got the notice that the tornado was coming through, or that there was a possible tornado. And then when we drove through, we were kind of surprised that it actually had touched down right here.
Yeah, so the good news, even with the 90-mile-per-hour winds and carts blowing around, no one was hurt. Of course, they spent the day cleaning up today. There was some damage to the roof here at the Burger King. There's some siding missing, but they tell me, as long as no one was hurt, everything is okay. Reporting live, Lacey, Cleveland 19 News.
I like baseball.
Julia Lieb wanted to make her boys' first Cleveland Indians game memorable, and she knocked it out of the park. 9-year-old Sasha was set up to play Deal or No Deal.
I thought I was just going to win money.
But Sasha won something even better.
Welcome Tim Lieb from his year-long deployment.
His dad, Chief Petty Officer Tim Lieb, has been in Guantanamo Bay with the Coast Guard for the past year.
I guess it was a challenging year for the boys especially. It was hard, a lot of sleepless nights.
But he surprised the boys by showing up to the tribe game.
I was like, wait, who's home? And then I looked behind me, and my dad's there.
It was Tim's game plan, and Julia couldn't even tell friends and family about the big surprise.
Well, Jonah was so scared he was hiding, so I was just hoping that Jonah wouldn't be so scared that he wouldn't hug his dad, but as soon as he saw him, he melted.
I cried a little.
So did we, Sasha. So did we.
What was the best part about the game?
Dad.
After that emotional reunion, the family only got a couple of hours together before Chief Petty Officer Lieb had to go back to his base for a couple of days. But he'll be back for good this weekend, and the boys tell me they already have plans for him.
I'm probably going to snuggle with him a lot.
Getting answers, Lacey, Cleveland 19 News. Yeah, I have been following this since the middle of January, and I just got my hands on these disciplinary reports. 2 EMS personnel will have to serve a 1-day, 8-hour suspension each after they refused to pick up a man who had been shot more than a dozen times.
Please take me to the hospital.
On January 14th, a man was shot more than a dozen times while sitting in a driveway near 188th and Pawnee. The victim was shot right here in the city of Cleveland, but drove himself a mile away. He stopped just across the street from the city line into the city of Euclid.
They won't come because it's in your city. Even though it's our victim, they won't come.
Euclid EMS was busy at a fire, and Cleveland EMS refused to send an ambulance.
Unless we pick him up and scoop him to Euclid and then worry about it there.
I mean, he needs to go to the hospital.
Police officers on scene decided the man needed help right away, and they drove him to the hospital in their police car. According to public documents from a personnel hearing, emergency medical dispatcher Myling Lamb asked Sergeant Jewel Smith at the time, "We don't go to Euclid, right?" Sergeant Smith responded, "No." According to the Emergency Medical Service General Order, the Division of Emergency Medical Service will dispatch an ambulance if an ambulance is available and if the total response time is 15 minutes or less. We went to EMS headquarters to get answers.
This is all going through the press office, so contact Dan Williams at the press office and he can answer all your questions.
The city's Director of Media Relations, Dan Williams, sent me an email saying, as the people involved will have an opportunity to file a grievance, we will not be interviewing on this topic at this time. For now, both the dispatcher and sergeant have been suspended for a 1-day or 8-hour shift. And I spoke with the victim's girlfriend today. She's upset and tells me she thinks they should serve longer suspensions. She says she hates to think what could have happened if police had waited for EMS to arrive. Getting answers, Lacey, Crisp, Cleveland 19 News.